Well, we were involved since we were old enough to stand and walk and talk. We didn't have daycare. It was on the back of a tractor or in a barn someplace. But so we were deeply involved. Farmed through the '80s. The economics of the '80s dictated that there wasn't a lot of margins there. It was a difficult time, struggling time for agriculture. So we came from high school knowing that we would need to further education because the farm was actually having a hard time supporting one family unit, more or less, additional family units. There isn't any one of us that hasn't always had either 2 to 5 jobs of some sort, meaning the farm was always a priority after that initial job in our family, And so we'd always invest, especially during the busy times, and maintain that connection. And as a couple decades have passed, the farming has actually become more profitable in most sectors, not all sectors, but most sectors, and created some opportunities to compensate for those more difficult, leaner times back in the '80s, early '90s. And it's created opportunity for us to maybe grow our business a little bit more, increase the involvement that we have the farm be a prong of that diversity that we were discussing. And then it obviously supports my mother. If you look at how my grandfather farmed, the harder you worked, the more money you made, the better you lived. It was a pretty simple equation. And when you look at the '80s and '90s transitioning into 2000, that equation changed where it wasn't really based on how hard you worked. It was how smart you worked, the business plans, the ability to understand how to make margins and profits. And so it was, difficult, and I've seen this struggle even now, but it's learning how to work smarter, be more efficient, those kind of things. And it isn't as directly related to how hard you work or the number of hours you should work, I should say. So that transition was a little bit of a, there was some tuition that had to be paid there because it was a big dollar game and there were some pretty expensive lessons. And there was a lot of farms that were lost in the '80s. Historically, it's pretty well publicized. So that would probably be our biggest struggle. We understand what it's like to be on the back against the wall. The commitment to creating a legacy is probably core. There's a lot of history here that I'd hate to see lost. It has been and can be a very profitable business to support our families. And I think Marion said it, it's a good life. It's a good place to raise kids. If you look at what's going on in some of the urban areas, it's very concerning. So yeah, it's a good place to raise kids.